This is me. This is Rimera. Rimera and I live on opposite sides of the world. That's why the connection sounds bad and is bad. This phone call also cost me $230 because I am stupid and did not look at the T-Mobile regulations. For my own sanity, please check out the music hall this Thursday on Wixq 91.7 FM The Ville, radical, renowned, real college radio.
What?
Turn around.
What?
Did you hear that?
That's crazy.
Did you know that you can record phone calls now? I had no clue.
No, how do I do this? It's just so insane.
It's like on the UI, you just hit more and it says record phone call. I found that out. I was trying to figure out how to record the phone call interviews that I do, and I was like, I gotta connect it through interfaces and stuff, or I could just hit the record button, and it's much easier doing it that way.
I'm deeply intrigued. Wait, so does that mean if because it says this call is being recorded, if I press the button, it says that, but I yell like really loud at the same time, like the person on the other end of the phone won't hear it say this call is being recorded.
That's a good question.
No idea.
Dude, that's a good question. I might have to try that next time.
Yeah, I'll test it out. I'll let you know how it goes.
All right, cool. I plan on focusing on Teddy's headphones first because I feel like it would be nearer and dearer to your heart because it just dropped. And then after we'll focus on Bushwa. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm very warped into the Teddy's headphone universe.
Yeah. This project is called Teddy's Headphones Volume 1, Catch Me If You Can, and I can't help but think of what's to come. What was the thought process behind splitting this project into a possible multiple volume project, and will there be a different feel for the next volume or the volumes to come?
There is a deeper sort of idea or concept I'm working on when it comes to these volumes. As much as it allows me just to explore a bunch of different random sounds that don't fit in the larger project, it kind of plays into something that I can't reveal yet. It's they were trying to explain the concept of the volumes without giving away a massive amount of information. But yeah, there's going to be a bunch of different ideas and energies and sound explorations. Don't expect Teddy's Headphones Volume 1 to sound like Volume 2 or Volume 3. But at the same time, I feel like I do have like a very a core foundation of a sound. So you're going to know whatever I make is going to be made by me. Sometimes it may be slightly difficult to explain without giving a massive, important piece of information away.
When this dropped, I was looking through my Spotify and I was like, oh no, dude, it's so short. And then I saw Volume 1 and I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, we're going to get much more. And I'm so happy about that. Speaking of short projects, this is your 4th studio project and your 2nd EP, if I'm not mistaken. What is different about your process this time around with Teddy's Headphones? Is there anything sonically or aesthetically that stands out to you for this project specifically?
Yeah, the process itself isn't massively different from Bushwa or jazz punk or even going back to anything earlier, because all of these things are still made in my bedroom primarily, so there's not a massive development in terms of the production process. Other than I am down in London a lot more, and my friends have a studio there, so I guess it's more collaborative work in real life, which is actually really interesting because again, a lot of what I'd done beforehand it was based on the internet and trying to operate on the internet. Yeah, the process is about the same, and then aesthetically and sonically, well, I guess just exploring a bunch of different sound palettes. I think I wanted to do with Teddy's Headphones Volume 1 something that I did a lot of 4 years ago, which is like super short ear candy kind of loopable instrumentals where I would literally just happily let these songs loop for a very long amount of time without needing to create some interesting structure and just let it play out. And I was kind of going for that ear candy sound, which compared to jazz punk and Bushwa, which a lot of the songs are a lot more developed structurally, where there's like some unique moments going on here, there, and a minute one is different to minute two and minute three, and there's like A, B, C sections and whatever. Whereas Teddy's Headphones are a lot more repetitive, but intentionally so.
Teddy's Headphones featuring Joshua Raw, who is 1/3 of Biking with Francis. How was it working with Joshua, especially while being on the other side of the world?
Sasquatch was a really interesting character to work with because, and I'm sure they won't mind the critiques that I'm going to offer, but Sasquatches, they work on a different sort of timing to humans, isn't it? It's very, they don't, I'm trying not to be rude and disrespectful about it, but for example, when it came down to payment, with working with Sasquatches, they don't run off a human economy, do they? So it was, I don't want to reveal too much information, but I had to collect 7 live rabbits and then ship them over to America as form of payment because they don't go like US dollars or Great British pounds. It's like food, the currency, of course, because they don't operate with the economy. So, you know, outside of like the payment system, it was a pleasure. We worked really well together. But yeah, there was definitely a lot to learn and quite a few challenges when working across species, like humans and Sasquatches do have some clashes when it comes to.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was quite tough working with a Sasquatch, but it seemed to work out at the end, it's good, and it created such an amazing title track. So. And an opening to
the creative chemistry was really good, and I'm very grateful that I got to kind of delve into the world of Sasquatches. So there were some great moments, but yeah, there's definitely, we have a long way to go.
My favorite song off of this project, and I think my second favorite instrumental of yours in general is Montreux. Which is track 3. There's something about like those kicks and the chords mixed with, I think there are arpeggiating synths in the background that really just like sticks to me, and I can't stop going back to it. You are like really skilled, amazing at mixing both the aggressive, muddy industrial like drums and bass with beautiful chords, which is something that we hear throughout a lot of your projects. What does your process look like when mixing these two elements together that creates the sound that you're going for?
A lot of it, because it's interesting. A lot of the crunchy and grungy nastiness mixed with those like sweeter sounds is throughout damn near my entire discography. It's literally just a case of it just feels right for me. Like when it's not distorted and crunchy and nasty, it feels raw. It just doesn't feel right.
Right.
It feels,
right.
It has to happen. Like there are. I mean, Teddy's Headphones. The track 1 wasn't massively distorted. High end crunch mixed with that like low end, essentially just distortion.
Yeah.
It kind of needs to happen in my songs. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel right. I listen to a lot of softer, calmer music. But when it comes to me making songs that take influence and inspiration from that, it's got to have that grunge to it. And it is literally the case. It just feels right to be.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad that it has to happen, right? Because it kind of makes your sound throughout Teddy's Headphones. We hear the reoccurring character of Big Lando, who really gets a spot to shine on the last track. Is it Prada de Rose or Prada de Rose?
I say Prada de Rose, but it could be whatever. Could be Rose. I think it's Rose because there's no little line of love.
Yeah.
I forgot my name.
Cool. Well, I mean, tell me about Big Lando. Why did he fit so well throughout the project?
Right. I'm gonna try and make the longest story short, but I guess it's very fun and interesting lore. There's a lot of Americanism in jazz funk, which is the first album I ever started to get like some level of attention for. I give a lot of the reason as to why jazz funk is so America coded. Before jazz funk, I was like born and raised just outside Birmingham, lived most of my life there. But when I dropped out of uni, I spent a lot of time by myself, and I kind of was like rebuilding my like entire life. I cut everyone off, and then during that kind of like time of isolation, there was like I was mostly speaking to Americans online, mostly from California because I was so invested in making music work. California was like the place to go and be.
Right.
And from that, I picked up a lot of like those like Americanism during that jazz punk era. I mean, the whole jazz punk cover art is shot in Los Angeles, but jazz punk went well. And obviously, as I just got older and more time after, I started going to properly rebuild my life
Yeah.
in the UK, and that's why Bushwa is a lot more rooted in like British influence, British culture. But even in Bushwa, I don't feel like it was super doubled down. Clear that I was British in Bushwa, but it wasn't like there wasn't like a statement piece. There wasn't like a British statement piece. So when it came to Taste headphones, just the more and more after in London, for example, I'm like, okay, I want this project to be extremely British because this is the first time I felt extreme British in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So the more I've been going down London, I met Lando maybe like October last year in the studio. And yeah, they're just super charismatic and they have such a personality. So there's always a new story, a new experience that they're sharing every time I meet them. And I was like, hey, there's no better representation of kind of what I'm at as a person. And kind of just the stuff that I guess I stand for. Not necessarily like, I don't know how to fully articulate it because I woke up from my nap. But a lot of Rimera is very community based. I feel like I'm more directing as opposed to being the main actor, main character in the Rimera universe. I'm kind of just saying, hey, you would sound good here, you would sound good on this, you should do this here. So like in Groundhog, it's a little bit of Italian, but in Groundhog Day, I had somebody talk through an experience that they had. I like to let people just talk over my stuff and share stories, and I appreciate the human expression element of that outside of the music. So it's kind of a recurrent theme to allow people to talk and express themselves non-musically over the music that I make. And Lando was just like a perfect fit for that. I kind of gave him a bunch of prompts like, hey, tell me a story of when you felt scared. Tell me a story of when you felt safe. Tell me a story about when you felt in danger or you felt bored or something. And yeah, there was a bunch of stories, and then I chose that one because it was super. There's so much going on in that story for Private Rose. That's kind of how the project came to be, and I really like to listen to that project whilst I'm in London on the tube, getting to the studio and whatever. It's a cool little soundtrack. A lot of people didn't like it because they're like, "Oh, you're talking through the whole song." But I think when you listen to it in the right context, it's a very enjoyable song or track piece thing.
My favorite moment is the very end when he is talking about how he was waiting in McDonald's for his food and he still didn't get his food after everything that happened. And I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Like, he fits perfectly on this project. And I think that's my favorite little moment on the project. But do you have any favorite moments on this project that you go back to?
I have a favorite moment on each song. On Teddy's Headphones, I really like the beat drop when Joshua Raw is rapping and the kicks come in. It's like, oh my God! And the bass line is slightly different to the rest of the bass lines in the song. And I think that's the coolest thing ever. And also when the bridge comes in, / like outro, and it's the first time I've ever done like harmonies well. So that was really cool. Rusty Ripple, I just like the structure. It's very poppy. I was very surprised that everybody doesn't like that song,
dude,
because it's the most like so to speak easy listen, because it's just like pop structure of like there's a really cool hook and a verse. It goes back to the hook, and you got a bridge, and you have like an outro, and it's like, yeah, Montreal's really cool. Don't you mind? There's a little vocal insert that nobody seems to have caught yet. It's why Retro Pussy's second verse comes in. It's like, don't you mind, don't you mind, don't you mind me? Is that part. But in the background is a vocal, a sample from a movie called The Living End, and it's based on these two guys that are recently HIV positive, and they go on this kind of like to death do us part criminal mission. They kind of like on the run from the police, and it's a really interesting, really cool movie from like 1992. Nobody seems to have caught that yet, but it also featuring that movie in a song called Don't You Mind was really cool, because I experienced a lot of critique last year about like every part of myself, and it was the first time I kind of experienced that on such a like large scale. So making that song and including so many talking points about why people mind me, it felt quite empowering. Like, don't mind me, and here's every reason why you don't need to mind me. It felt cool.
Yeah.
And then Project the Rose again, it's just like how British of a song that is. It's all the way through. It's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
This is my standout moment. I love the songs and projects I make. I'm like, guys, you have to grow on these. This is like an immediately likable.
Yeah.
It's like Instagram updates. No one likes Instagram updates, but then 2 months pass and you look back at the old update and we're like, you know what? I'm happy about this. So
it kind of also reminds me of when Tyler dropped Flower Boy and then he dropped Igor, which are totally two different projects, right? And there's a lot of high-pitched vocals on Igor, and most of the vocals on that album are pitched, and so many people were hating on it, and it took months for people to really simmer down and really listen to it and take it as it is. And I think that's kind of what Raspberry Ripple, and I think also Part of the Roses is like, that's kind of what people like. It's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, I try and offer people as much insight as possible to where the music comes from. So I have my influences playlist for every project, and it's on my official Spotify page. But the vocals, I kind of just came around to them myself, but I realized subconsciously they may well have come from this artist called Sam Bodie, who I can't find on Spotify. So the influence, the songs are on Spotify in the playlist, but on Apple Music, if anyone has Apple Music, I have the influences placed on there. There's an artist called Sam Bodie. There's a song called March. And yeah, that vocal style, it's just so sweet, and it sounds so like pure. And yeah, I guess listening back, I was definitely going to something like that. So yeah, I think sometimes it also just takes people got to go back and listen to where certain ideas come from to understand how it's come to what it is today, for people to actually like appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. We can move on to Bushwa. You named Bushwa, obviously, which in its definition means like nonsense, rubbish, etc. What does Bushwa mean to you in the context of the project, of the album?
I think I'm not very afraid of going out my stomach's comfort zone, and I'm very aware, like we talked about Pity Headphones, I'm very aware that people want music, understand it. I'm very aware that some of the releases are quite polarizing, especially the biggest song that's Mabel Cole and had people in a chokehold. I just, before even any of the songs came out, Bushwa was already a name that I was in my head as a project I wanted to make. But as I was making the project, and I realized how dislikable it could be, but also how lovable it could be, I was like, yes, this is the project that needs to be called Bushwa. Because there's so many gross, intense, nasty moments, but there's also so many beautiful moments intertwined. So I can't remember the full promo, but I remember I wrote something where I said, like, one man's trash is another man's treasure. That's where the kind of Bushwa sentiment comes from. It's like, I'm going to call this album trash, but it's going to be like very masterful at the same time. and it's up to you to decide. And then also there's just it's a case of, I think I just appreciate irony. Like jazz punk does not have much jazz or that much punk. I just was like, let's just call it jazz punk and fuck it. like let you do it and then not think too much about it. So when you make a really like masterful album, and let's call it trash, because why not?
Yeah.
Level of irony, I appreciate.
So you open Bushwa with kind of a title track, track 1, Total Bushwa, which feels like a very cinematic, and like it swells with all of the strings and such. What was your goal with using this track as kind of the tone setter for the rest of the album?
There was originally a song called Bellyache featuring Omelette, which played out as the first track for Bushwa. And it was like an acoustic guitar, slightly emo. That was the original introduction, and that was before I made the cover art. And it had the whole album had way more like an emo tone. And then when I made the cover art, the original one, which was like, the Bushwa blue sweater, holding the flowers, as opposed to me like lunging and or like pinked up and whatnot. It was the more mellowed cover. Yeah, I remember making that cover, and it had so many like rich greens and rich blues. It was like, wow, I really should have like there's no string section in any of this project. But looking at the cover art, I was like, this needs a string section. So I wrote Total Bushwa. I was like, okay, now this is really cool. I need to make the album symmetrical. So then I made a second variation of it for the end of the original album, The Last Good Spun Off, so kind of loop back around. But yeah, the cinematic opening was just because I made the cover art, and I was like, yes, this needs
right
strings, as opposed to that acoustic emo guitar that originally opens the album.
The Last Mabelcorn, run me through that track. I love this song. It is so heavy, and then it of course it breaks off in the stuff that's beautiful, and then it goes back and yeah. So tell me about The Last Mabelcorn.
Thank you. Yes, I made Best Friends. That Best Friends is the song. It's one of the songs I made in 2023. But I didn't really have that many other songs like it. So I remember one night, probably in like November, I want to make Best Friends version 2, essentially. So I found the guitar that I used, the guitar sounds that I used for Best Friends, and I created a new riff, put some drums over it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is disgustingly hard. And then I threw like the more melodic, like hook production. And then, yeah, it was just such like, the song is so intense. I was listening to a lot of like hardcore stuff, like Chuck Violence. It was a big influence through the album. A song called Drunk to Death is one of my favorite songs to this day. That first half of the song felt so overwhelming. I was like, that can't be the full song. And I was like, everybody loves a beat switch. I love a beat switch. Nobody would expect the beat switch.
Right.
So let me just take it from this nasty new metal hardcore song to this like really jazzy, real soul, beautiful thing. And I think thematically what the song is talking about, it also matches really well, going from like anxiety and tension to acceptance and peace. So it kind of made sense to go from this really disgusting and gross thing to something really, really beautiful and sweet. Yeah, that was the process through the song, was like just make the nastiest shit and then turn it into the most beautiful thing. And I think based on what I was talking about in the song, it made sense to do that.
That song, and there's another song on the album, mentions, or I guess relates to Gravity Falls, right? The Last Mabelcorn, I think, is an episode of Gravity Falls, and Gravity Falls song, which is another track on the album. I have to ask, is Gravity Falls like an inspiration for this album? Are you just like a big fan of Gravity Falls? Like, what's going on there?
I like Gravity Falls, man. Like, it's a good show. There's a few things I can just break down. Is I love I remember watching Gravity Falls in 2023. I was going through some things, and it kept me going through the things. So it always felt like a little special comfort place in my heart. But then also, I have like a deep appreciation for shows and series and films where you can tell that the people working on it actually enjoyed working on it. Like, there's so much, like, so many fine details with personality and little, like, fourth wall breaks and real life references that go into these things that are just so soulful. So yeah, I have an admiration for Alex Hirsch. He may be, in terms of what I'm going for and trying to bring into the music world, he is a massive inspiration and influence, I guess, from a different like art form of animation and TV. And what he did in that is something that I'm trying to bring into music soon enough.
That's dope. I remember watching Gravity Falls when I was a younger dude with my brother. That show is really good. I forgot his name. Bill Cipher. Creepy fucking dude. Creepy
Crazy,
triangle.
Crazy little bit. And it's also it's based in the Pacific Northwest, which is a very cool Rimera.
Yeah.
There's lots of Pacific Northwest themes in what I make.
I got a lot of Pacific Northwest vibes from the Gravity Falls song music video for sure.
Yeah, we filmed it in the Pacific Northwest. We filmed it in South Lake Tahoe in California, NorCal.
Never been, but I'll get there soon. My favorite song off of Bushwa, and I know my favorite song of yours is "Oh No, They Blew Up Sunrise Mountain." I specifically love the bridge of this track so much. The bright keys, the heavy drums like we talked about before, and the vocals by Omelette all come together so beautifully. Could you walk me through the creation of the song, like the process of it, getting Omelette to work on it, I guess everything about this song?
Of course. Oh, thank you. Sunrise Mountain is basically my version of a Stevie Dinner song. I love Stevie Dinner.
Dude.
They have an album called Mystery Flavor, and the sounds and textures and the vibe of that project are it's sensational. So I guess I just wanted to make my version, which is why I felt like these really like upbeat, like paced drums, and a very like funky, groovy, I guess somewhat retro vibe. And yeah, I just wanted to make something kind of fast. Fast and fun. I originally had Joshua Raw in mind to do a verse on it. But as I said, Sasquatch their form of payment is really odd. I couldn't get. He wanted 15 live rabbits this time.
Wow.
And actually, it's something that was not feasible. So unfortunately, Joshua Raw, Sasquatch couldn't get on this one. So I messaged Omelette. Omelette's a human, so we figured that out a lot better. Yeah, I mean, me and Omelette have we got Bellyache. We have the Sunrise Mountain. We've got a bunch of stuff, and we work well together. And I think it's because we have that like whimsy, fun. Let's just keep it fun. Let's not get too deep and serious into certain things like these songs, but just make sure we're keeping that light and childlike wonder when it comes to making art. We both hold that. So it's always such a pleasure working with Omelette, and I think they're like insanely talented. They have an amazing eye and ear for what they do. So it's always great to work with Omelette. We were working on Bellyache around the same time, and we went through a few iterations of Bellyache. But for Sunrise Mountain, I think the vocals you hear are the first thing that she has sent back. And I think I just feel like some distortion on the vocals. But yeah, it was literally the first. There was no like back and forth. Oh, I prefer. I'd like you to do this, or I'd like you to do that. It was literally she sent that back, and that's what it became. and I didn't know if she was going to do the full song or if she was going to do like a little verse or something. And I was like, yeah, I actually don't need to do anything. I don't need to lay anything down. I feel like I'm like, there's a lot to break down. We wanted to do like a conversation during the bridge, but I ended up not doing it because I just wanted to let. But yeah, it became a very fun song, and I'm happy that I have songs that everybody hates, but also everybody loves. I don't think there's that many Sunrise Mountain haters out there. I think everybody has that. That's one of the Rimera songs that everyone's like, yeah, I can get behind this one.
When listening to your music, I try to, especially like all new artists, I try to piece together where they get their inspirations from. And from you, I got a lot of Nerd. I got a lot of The Garden. But for some reason, Stevie Dinner just never crossed my mind. I love Mystery Flavor. I don't know why that did not cross my mind. Card Decline for Pizza and Wine is a song that I love to play during my radio show on air because it just freaks everyone out, dude. I love playing that shit on air.
It's amazing. I love Stevie. Stevie really used to follow me back in like 2023, but they don't follow me no more. That's a shame. That's crazy. I forget about it because I didn't listen to Stevie Dinner like crazy. I don't know how I ended up following them, and then they must have followed me back. But then by the time I actually become like an influence in my music, they must have unfollowed me. It's like, damn. So shout out Stevie.
Shout out Stevie Dinner.
An amazing artist.
You mentioned before that you feel like kind of a director with your music. On Bushwa, there's a lot of featured artists. A song that I go back to all the time is Who You Talking To, which features both Colin and Garrett Sparrow, who I had a pleasure talking to last week. You mentioned you listened to that. Thank you for listening to that. But I cannot not focus on Colin's verse. The way that he flows on the song with the instrumentals and the birds chirping in the background, and it sounds very spring like. What was it like working with Colin on this track?
Colin is so great to work with because he will send back a verse in like a day. Because me and Colin haven't like talked that much. We've been very like mutually connected. I remember making an instrumental, which was a cross between like Jamiroquai and I Don't Love You Anymore by Tyler. It was like those two were the two inspirations with that song, and I was like, I need Colin on this. Like Colin's voice is literally perfect for the song. I was like, hey, I want to sing you this song. Usually, I like if I want someone to work on a song, we'll be tapped in quite a lot before, and we're talking and kind of family of friends or like as intimate friends as you can be. But yeah, I just sang Colin the song. He's like, yeah, but. And he came back with it, and I don't know, it must be like hours. I don't know. It was like a day or less than a day. I was like, yeah, you got it. Like, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to put a verse on it, and I was like, no. Like, it just my voice just didn't work on it. And especially how strong Colin's verse was, I was like, I can't match that. I actually just can't do that. So yeah, for it to kind of fill up not the empty space, I don't want to say it like that, but I sent Garrett I sent Garrett Sparrow the album before it was finished, and he wanted to get on Rosebush Conundrum. He sent something back, but it wasn't quite what I was going for. But what he did on Who You Talking To was perfect. So yeah, then we had Colin and Garrett Sparrow. It's probably one of the most listened songs. Well, the song that I listen to the most on that album. It's just one of those perfect ones that I just like. Anywhere I go, I can listen to it.
You mentioned Rosebush Conundrum, and it doesn't have Garrett Sparrow on it, but it has Kimberly. And Kimberly is also featured on Your Pretty Boys. The way that Kimberly sounds on both those songs are amazing. Like, her voice is amazing. What was it like working with Kimberly on those two tracks?
Kimberly is like top 10 people ever. I remember being like November, October 2024, and I'd gone to this event in Coventry. Coventry is a really interesting and beautiful, very communal, creative scene that isn't so much happening where I'm from. So I was going to Coventry, and I had my friend Samo, because we don't have songs together, like out, but I'm always working with my friend Samo's songs. Yeah, he introduced me to Kimberly. It was a very brief meeting, but then when we recorded Neighborcorn, that's when we kind of hung out for like a longer period of time, and we really clicked. But yeah, it's such a great friendship, and I'm so grateful for Kimberly. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what the question was, so I just started talking back here. But yeah, it's great. It's always great, and you know the chemistry is really good. Yeah, I think you can tell that we are actually like very good friends, just based on the fact that the art that we make together is dare I say about myself, the music is absolutely amazing when we work together.
It is.
But yeah, it's always great working with Kim. I got more ideas, more and more ideas. So I can't wait to work together again.
Do you have any favorite moments on this project that you look back to? Any specific parts of a song or anything, whether it be, and we can go visuals too, because your visuals are amazing as well. Any favorite moments on this project?
We will be here for 6 hours. Oh my goodness, you asked the wrong question. Well, the right question is you want a 6-hour interview. Let me think. Notting Hill, the bridge is really good. The outro with the harmonies and the bass comes in. Last Label Corn, the second half. Spit, she's just like me. Top 10 with Rimera bars. I love my voice on any month. My voice is very suited for indie stuff. Best Friends, all of it. I can't believe people don't rate Best Friends. Sunrise Mountain, all the way through. Reference Company, that's cool. I like that. Who you talking to? The Kimberly vocals, the go under Gareth Barrow's like Puck. So it's like someplace, whatever. And it's, oh my gosh, those little vocals from Kimberly, and like there's someplace no one knows in the background, those harmonies are gorgeous. Rosebush Conundrum, the harmonies at the end of that middle section were inspired by Frank Ocean's Pink and White.
Oh yeah.
And I think we achieved it perfectly. Amazing. Let's get spun off. People don't understand the middle section, but that's a very important part. And it also is reminiscent of Groundhog Day and Proud of the Rose, which is segments of life. Contextually, if you understand it, it's really cool. If you're listening without any context, it's like, what the hell are these people talking about? I'm running through these songs. I'm just trying to get through as concisely as possible. Gravity Full songs. The Hug is awesome. I love Hug. I got kids to sing on that shit. That was very cool. That's what Summer, my friend in Sacramento, Kyle, who is the guitarist in Euthanasia, did guitar on that. Sounds awesome. Little Brown Kids. The lyrics on the front bus are so cool. I love the lyrics. Because lyrics have always been like a weak point for me sometimes, but the more that I've been able to be out and experience life, the more I've been able to write it with more intention, which is cool. Who Got the Nerve? The piano's really cool, and Your Pretty Boy is the best song I've ever made. There's like 10 moments in that I could talk about. But again, the lyrics. So the lyrics. As the world burns down, they hold their flags up high. But I dance and I twerk, I live with no disguise.
Yeah.
I think because my audience is a little bit younger, they don't entirely realize or understand exactly what I said there. Because I've seen comments of people being like, I want to hold my flag up high. And it's like, no. If you know what I'm talking about, and especially if you're from the UK, if you know what I'm talking about, that's one of my favorite and most important lines I've ever written.
You mentioned Who Got the Nerve. Just real quick, let's hit on Who Got the Nerve featuring Q the Hero. Q the Hero is one of my favorite new and upcoming rappers. This dude is amazing with his style and the way he raps. Reminds me a lot of like Mike, if you know Mike, and Earl Sweatshirt, that kind of area of abstract hip hop and kind of just flowing over the beat effortlessly. And I've been meaning to reach out to him. What was it like working with Q the Hero?
It was another like really like easy. I remember we haven't talked massively again. I think the first time I hit him was about the feature. But yeah, I made an instrumental. I was like, it's dope. I just want to see what they do with it. I said, hey, I want to hear you on this. They said, yeah, sounds good. And I flew into San Francisco. And when I landed in San Francisco, he sent back the verse. Yeah, I don't think I ever bugged him about, like, I don't think there's ever and said, "Hey, have you done this first?" And I think he just in his own time he did it and then sent me back. And I remember being there waiting for the Greyhound bus, the Greyhound coach in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
There was all types of funky shit going on out there because I was just stranded. But I remember that was, I guess, the soundtrack for that day because I just got that verse back and I was very excited. And I was like, this is a really cool place to listen to this cute hero verse. But yeah, it's always a pleasure. We're not as like tapped in. They're always a pleasure to see what's going on with them.
That's all I have for the music, but I have to ask about I think probably my favorite thing about you as an artist, which is your videos, dude. On top of making all of this beautiful music, you shoot, direct, edit, color, all of your videos almost entirely yourself, right? What is your background with making videos like this? What is your favorite thing about shooting, directing, and editing these videos as well?
This is exclusive lore that has never been told before. So fantastic question. So when I was younger, I always used to like write scripts and like draw maps and create worlds and stories. I've always been doing this shit since literally I could pick up a pen. But outside of wanting to like make songs and write scripts, I used to play football for USA soccer. I used to play football every Sunday. As I was growing up and I got like 12, 13 years old and I started to get like an iPad. We had like a family iPad and I downloaded YouTube on it. I used to watch like the Sidemen do football challenges. You know the Sidemen, right?
Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah, okay. I was just making sure. I don't know. Like, I don't know. But yeah,
they're almost as big here as they are in the UK.
Like, okay, yeah. Because I remember talking to the Tajay one time about SD Kid like 4 months ago. And he was like, "Nah, I don't know who SD Kid is." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? You know, bro, everyone knows SD Kid."
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, when I was like 12, 13, was into YouTube was like the Sidemen. So when I was like 13. It was the time where people started to make YouTube channels, and I made a YouTube channel, which if anybody tries to go and find that shit, it's non-deletable, you're never going to find it. I do like football challenges with my friends from high school, and they were good, you know. I was like, bro, I was sick at editing. I was on iMovie, but I also like Dan and Phil, or like Thatcher Joe, and like the vlog style. Talking stuff. So yeah, I used to start like other than football challenges, I used to start like making little vlogs, and eventually, when I was like 14, I stopped making those YouTube videos because I got death threats on one of my comments. On one of the comment section and people from my high school, not on some like they were just on some real hate shit. I didn't do a damn thing, but people started to get mad that I was getting motion. And motion at that time was like I was about to hit 100 subscribers,
right?
So she was getting serious. So people getting jealous and whatnot. Then I started to get like threats and whatever to do from my school. So I kind of just quit. I went on a little hiatus. But during that time, I was like 14 years old. TGF, bro. And they're like, do you know TGF, bro?
I don't think so, no.
So they were like the most local thing to me. People doing cool shit on YouTube. Well, back then it was cool. I could watch it now and be like, damn, what the hell was I watching? But back then, at like 14 years old, they were like extremely local to me and making waves in the UK from the stuff they're making. And it was all this like goofy, like comedic, pranky type of stuff catered towards like the younger audience. But there were certain things that they were doing in their videos towards like 2017 that were like super cinematic. Like they had drone shots and they were making clothes like merchandise, so it was well designed. And they started using like cool color grades and cinematic stuff. And that is something that really inspired me. And that took me from going from like, let me make football challenge videos and stuff and like vlogs to I want to delve more into cinema. So when I would go on like family holidays, I would film cool cinematic stuff and then put music over it. When I put the music over it and upload it onto YouTube, it would get copyright stricken.
Yep.
Stroke, whatever the hell. Yeah, I'd get a copyright strike. So then I went on to GarageBand and I started making my own songs on GarageBand so that I wouldn't get any copyright issues. And then that kind of got me into making music. But everything originally started with making videos on YouTube. And that was my gateway, really. Getting with copyright strikes was my gateway into making music. So that's why the music is so intertwined with the visuals. Because again, it's kind of a whole world. Because when I started making the videos, I came to make music, but maybe I want to make my own clothes, kind of creating them and the photos and the characters, and it's kind of building this whole thing, which goes very well back to when I was younger and I used to write scripts and make maps and stories, and it all kind of makes sense to me to have gotten to where like the conclusions and styles and the way of working, which I do looking back at what I used to do when I was like a lot younger. But yeah, that was where I kind of got into visual stuff. And then, yeah, I think when I was 15, this is a long story. This is way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was 15, that's when I started to find like Odd Future and Tyler.
Right.
And that's when things started to like click for me and make sense. I was like, oh, this isn't a fun hobby that I'm going to have to put away when I get older, because that's what's kind of ingrained to you where I'm from and where a lot of people are from. It's ingrained into them and taught from a young age that music and art is a hobby and it's not a career path.
Yep.
When I saw artists like Our Future and the Tylers and do exactly what I do, but do it professionally, I was like, this is my way forward. Like, this is actually what I'm meant to be doing. And yeah, it kind of set me on that path, and you kind of go down the Our Future Tyler rabbit hole. And then you just become more positive and reference on a bunch of stuff. So yeah, by the time I was like 17, 18, I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm doing. And then it's the music, it's the clothes, it's the photos, it's the live performances, it's the events, it's all of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it came to be what it is today.
I guess you could say that Sidemen is the reason that Rimera is here talking to me right now.
It's so good. I don't even it's probably, again, it's an age thing, innit? I don't watch the Simon at all, and I don't rate what they have going on, but I just, there's nothing about it that appeals to me anymore. But again, I can't deny them being, the key holders, I guess, into the life that I live now. I can't deny that they were a significant part of the process.
I mean, so your style, your promotion, which is really good, by the way, dude, you kill it on TikTok. But your promotions, your artwork, album covers, and your music all have a very unique and original style, even though obviously you have so many inspirations. I guess we've already talked about a lot of this, but do you have any other inspirations that you feel like you need to highlight? If it's, film, any songs that really, specific songs or albums that really stick to you when making music, or artwork, or anything else that really, really sticks to you when creating?
Yes. A lot of inspirations and influences do just come from real life. Being out and about and seeing somebody wear a cool tracksuit, and it's like, oh, that's a character in my film now or something. There's a lot of stuff from real life that you see, and it's like, oh, this is inspiring or influencing me. But in terms of this other stuff that I see here and there, there's 3 music videos that are the pillars of Rimera. It's Orange County Punk Rock Legends by The Garden. That music video, Delusional World Champion by Gene Dawson, and Ice Cream Man by Chase USA are the 3 pillars of Rimera.
Yeah.
From music videos and styles. I really like Toilet Paper Magazine. A lot of people compare my stuff to Cherry Bomb a lot aesthetically, but I think if you look at Toilet Paper Magazine, it's much more in that region of influence. I take a lot less influence from Cherry Bomb than I think people think, but I can understand how it fits in the world. And then, honestly, I've been vouching for Chase for the longest time, but I'll always say the Chase USA, even though they've gone under a bunch of different names previously that I could mention, their current name is Chase USA. And I think they have been one of the most important references to me to get into and really believe that I could do what I'm doing. Because when I was, for example, like 17, 18, all of my references were like significantly larger artists than me. I remember Chase was putting out these insane bodies of work and had this insane professional art direction, and they were a tiny artist that nobody was massively paying attention to or seeing, but their quality of work was that of like the greats, and I was so taken aback by that. It reminded me, okay, you don't need every resource in the book, every opportunity, every finance to create the coolest shit ever. And that's how that inspired me and told me, look, like you can actually just go do this shit now and get all the things that you want to create. So Chase was always like the blueprint for quality. So yeah, there's Jim Dawson, Chase, The Garden, Toilet Paper Magazine. But yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, that's like the main stuff. There's of course like I guess Gravity Falls goes into that, as Harsh. Yeah, Tyler Farrell, of course. I'm trying to not miss out anyone. There's a bunch, but yeah, that's like the immediate ones.
Dude, this was an amazing interview. Thank you so much for being so willing to talk to me, and for a long time too. I know that it's probably very late for you. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much.
When we started this call, I just told you that I had a nap. You got to see me, well, not see me, but listen to me wake up like through an interview.
Yeah, dude.